Great.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. My name's Jasper with ScoreMain. Apologies, my camera's not on today. But either way, I appreciate everyone joining us. I'm joined by Kay Walton of Smart Pineapple AI, and we're here to. Kay really will be putting on a presentation on AI for your vacation rentals. I do want to thank today's sponsor, and that I believe is the Maine Technology Institute. It is indeed. Maine Technology Institute, we've worked with pretty often at SCORE. Good, great group to work with. If you're not familiar, the Maine Technology Institute is a state-run organization that it helps facilitate technology usage such as this throughout the state of Maine, especially for businesses. Either way, and if you didn't know about SCORE, just a quick spiel here. We are a small business mentoring service, a partner of the Small Business Administration, and we help businesses from pre-start to exit. And if you don't already have a SCORE mentor, you can get one for free at score.org. Either way, Kay, why don't you take it away?
Okay, great. Good morning, everybody. My name is Kay Walton, and I am in Woolwich, Maine, which, if you're not familiar with our little town, it is just across the bridge from Bath. And I'm really excited to be here with you this morning. And just a little bit about me. I'm from away, and my background, I've been in hospitality and tourism for over 35 years. And as you will learn, is that I've spent most of my life in the Caribbean working in hospitality and tourism. And across the years, more recently, I have a master's degree in travel and tourism from Temple University, and I'm an adjunct professor for them. I'm also a consultant in digital marketing and guest services. And I have also been in AI because, as you'll learn, I'm a little bit geeky too. And so I have been committed to small and medium sized businesses because I believe that smaller businesses are really the gems of any destination. No one ever said, I can't wait to go to pick a destination to stay at the Marriott or the Holiday Inn. It's always the smaller destination. So my heart is always committed to those smaller destinations. So it's why I kind of dig in and commit myself to help you and other smaller businesses in hospitality and tourism thrive. So that's just a little bit about me. So today, what I'll do is I'm going to ask you to turn your mics off, or to turn them off mute, because when I ask you, we're going to have a little Q&A here. All right, because I want to get you guys engaged if you can. And if not, then I'll just keep talking. So, anyways, my first question for you is, what do you remember about 1995? And it can be anything. So you can feel free to just, speak up and say what you remember. Is it, was it a movie, a favorite song? Was it a big life event? Maybe it's just where you were living. So anybody have something they remember from back in 1995? Jasper, you can jump in too if you want.
Yeah, hold on. I believe there's a song. Uh, I don't know. Never mind. It's a good year for music. You got some Collective Soul, Alanis Morissette's "You Ought to Know." That's a good hit.
Anybody else in the group here have anything they want to shout out that they remember from back in 95? And who knows, maybe all of you were not even born in 1990 by then. Maybe you're way younger and didn't come, weren't even, or maybe you were too young to remember 1995.
In
But
'97 myself, so
oh, okay. So there you go. All right. So I'm aging, I'm dating myself a little bit there. Well, let me tell you about what I remember about 1995. This is what I remember about 1995. Um, this is a photo of where I was in 1995. This is a little pueblo in Mexico where I was living. And one afternoon over a margarita, a tourist, whoops, sorry about that. A tourist told me um, about this new thing called the internet. And at the time, there were a few property owners down there who were still relying on print brochures. And travel agents in the States were showing people brochures on where they could rent down in this part of Mexico. You would find them in travel agents' offices. And I had this wild idea, what if instead of brochures, we built them a website? At the time, it sounded unbelievable. But we all know how that turned out. And at this point, big shifts in technology have always seemed a little bit crazy at first until they're not. And today we're kind of standing at that kind of crazy moment with AI. So that is just one of those things that really, this is a kind of a foretelling of where we are today. Now, 15 years later, the internet became a global mainstream phenomena. It took 15 years for the internet to have global adoption. So my next question to you is, what do you remember about 2007? Anybody about 2007?
Myself, I'm a big video game fan. 2007 was a really good game for video games, Halo 3 and Mass Effect, to name a few, but that's just me.
Okay. Few things that might resonate with some people. It was when the first iPhone was launched. That was a game changer. The final edition of the Harry Potter book was released. That was pretty big. And Facebook was a college thing. All right. Well, one of the things I remember in 2007 is this is me teaching social media at a conference in Cancun to a group of hoteliers and hospitality professionals about social media. And this was a room full of skeptics and business owners who said, we will never be on social media. We will never use Facebook. And yet, 5 years later, social media became a global phenomenon. So we had the internet at 15 years later, social media was 5 years later. Right. And the reason I'm telling you this story is that now we're at the realm of AI. And every time there's a new technology, whether it's the internet, or social media in the 2000s, there's a hesitation, there's a skepticism, and there's a whole lot of, this is not for me. But as we see, these shifts do not wait for all of us to catch up. I don't know if your businesses or your properties, how long it took you to establish a Facebook page or a web page, but you might have had to play catch up. And right now we're standing on the precipice of this next big change with AI. And it is not some futuristic George Jetson, I'm dating myself again, but it's not one of these futuristic things. It's already here. So we're going to talk about AI and some of the advantages it has for you as a business, but a lot of these concepts can be utilized for any small business out there. Okay, so as I said, AI is experiencing the fastest adoption in history. So 15 years from the internet to really be well adopted. It was only 5 years for social media. In AI adoption, when ChatGPT, which is now a consumer-based AI platform, in 2000 months has reached 100 million users. That's a lot of users in a really short period of time. And this is what the reality of AI is, and it's only going to move faster as everybody's on board. So this is where it's really a huge opportunity to get on board now, and you'd still be considered an early adopter. So AI is already everywhere if you didn't already know. So for example, Amazon. Did you ever look at the recommended for you? That's AI. And once again, you've got Netflix, whatever you want to binge, that's AI at work again. That's personalization. Google Maps in your traffic, or Waze, if you use Waze or Apple Maps, that is. Um, Mortgages, when you go in and apply for a bank, mortgage calculators, or even when you're going to apply for credit cards, that's all done with AI. And yes, even your smartphone, when you're doing texting and things, the autocorrect is AI. And as much as we may not like AI in all of our business, we're pretty happy when that autocorrect corrects our spelling. And of course, other things here that are the obvious is Siri and Alexa, definitely AI. So the AI's already been here. It's already been in use. But what the big excitement is that we use a lot of generative AI, which we're going to explain here. And this is what's going to be the big starter for us in marketing our properties. So why this business, why this adoption really matters to your business? As I've shown, technical adoption cycles are shrinking. So it gives you the opportunity now to really get on board early, just as if it was with social media and everything. It allowed what used to take decades to happen, as you see, is now taking mere months. So the businesses that jumped on to the internet and to social media, and now in AI, those people who jump in early, those people, they owned the markets. They created, the people who embraced social media first created loyal users. They built loyal followings before a lot of other people could catch up. And now the same thing is really happening with AI, with that same early advantage. But this window continues to keep shrinking, and especially because with AI, the time of evolution is so rapid. So if you wait too long, you're going to wind up playing catch up. But while there's others out there who will already be saving time, um, capturing more consumers or guests, and working a lot smarter. And that's really what AI is about, is to help you work smarter. And you don't need to master AI. You don't have to understand all the technology behind it to make and how it works. You just need to start using it, and using it purposefully, and even in small, simple ways. And today I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to look at how AI has answers to some of your biggest headaches, right? Today's consumers, I think everybody, guests, demand a lot from us as hosts, property managers, and AI helps us deliver those needs to our guests. And especially in hospitality, the guests now just don't want a pillow and a bed to sleep in. They want an experience, and it's we have to do more for the same amount of money for that nightly rate. So we need to use AI to help us make our jobs a little bit easier. So to understand our guests better, we can use AI for looking at reviews. We don't have time to look through every review and every comment that's out there on travel sites and social media. Who has time to read through all that? But AI can help that move a little bit smoother. We'd love to help personalize every guest experience, but how do you do that while you're keeping up with emails and promotions and those little touches to make a guest feel special? And social media, which can be overwhelming and a time suck, social media can be successful if it's done consistently. But as a small business owner with maybe one or two rentals or a small hotel, who has the time to create all that content? And social media can be a very useful tool when you put AI behind it to help generate that content for you. So it really helps us generate, AI helps us to use to do marketing smarter and to generate responses faster. And it frees up your time to focus on what matters, which is the guest experience. And I always tell business owners, and maybe you get to have a day off because we all know in hospitality, it's a 24/7 job. So, if any of you right now, if I would love to know if you guys, what problems you have right now, if any one of these scenarios fits for you, if you've had, what are some of the biggest headaches that you're experiencing right now as a property owner or as a small business owner?
If anyone has any examples, feel free to either put it in the chat and I can read it for you, or come off a mute and speak to it.
Yeah.
I know here at SCORE we do use AI both in like iteration for our workshop descriptions, and sometimes for drafting out messages to clients as well. But Zoom's AI here has been very helpful in our sessions that we have with our clients, in that it really helps us keep track very easily our session notes.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Jasper, because I was in a meeting with some people down in Boston, and they said, "Well, can you come back and we're going to do this again, and you can take notes about it?" I said, "No, I'm not going to come back and take notes." I said, "We just turn AI on. Let's just record from here, and I'll just have AI transcribe all the notes."
Absolutely.
Um, and these guys were going, "What?" And I was telling them some of the things I'm just telling all of you guys this morning.
Yeah.
Um,
We do have
but
Monica in the chat here. Monica's getting a
yeah.
new property off the ground and developing a social media campaign to support it.
Oh, that's awesome, Monica. And it's funny, AI can help you do that. And for example, if you can use AI, so I'm not knowing your property, but if you have your ideal guest, you could put into AI and develop your marketing campaign. This is my ideal guest, and I want to use these platforms. What is the type of, some of the best times and the types of campaign to run? And it can help you lay out that campaign and a content calendar to help lay that out for you. So it takes a little bit of the guesswork out of it, and it also helps you write content not only to promote your property, but also the topics that would appeal to your target guest, if that makes sense. And I'll show you, and we're going to go through here some things that will help you in especially with a new property. And I'll give you my contact information. Always happy to give you some insights and share. I have a great little takeaway for all of you at the end of the show as well, that I'm happy to share that would be of value to you. Anybody else have questions? Nope. All right, I will go on. Now, there's one thing I would like to point out, is that all AIs are not created equal. All right, there's different types of AIs out there, and so I have a whole bunch of notes here. That's why I keep moving them over. I don't want to miss anything. So let me just cover a few of the different AIs. There's not a quiz on this, and it really won't make any difference. But it's just nice to understand an overview on what types of AIs do what. So first, you have a rule-based AI. So, for example, rule-based, if a customer makes a reservation, then an automated confirmation goes out. All right, an if-then scenario, really simple. All right, so that is something, a lot of it, if you use a PMS system or you have your own system where or pay now, if the customer does this, then this happens. All right. Then there is machine learning. Now, some of you have probably already used a chatbot on a very limited basis, but now with AI chatbots, it can learn patterns over time. So it can learn questions, information on not only your like check in and check out and policy information, but you can feed it information so it can go and then piece together information. You can upload your brand. If you have lots of standard operating procedures or brochures or any type of documentation, you can help feed it to that. So if someone chats in a question about the property, what are the attractions around it? It can help pull some of those things up. So that's part of the machine learning. It's learning some of the information that you can provide it with. And natural language programming goes right in line with that. And it understands the natural questions that those users are going to ask you for. You know, is there medical services in the area? It will understand that. And if you have provided that information, it will be able to provide that information back. So it's not, if you're familiar with keywords in marketing, when we look at Google keywords, you had to give very specific keywords: best hotel, best restaurant in Portland. With natural language processing AI, you can say, I'm looking for the best hamburger joint in Yarmouth or just north of Portland, and it will understand that and be able to look that up. So natural language processing gives AI more flexibility so we can talk to it like we talk to each other. So with it helps also, natural language programming is you could take a review off your website or off of Airbnb and drop it in, and it could give you a summary of what that review says, without you having to read it. It could say, this customer was really, really happy with their trip and they can't wait to come back. Or they really had a problem with the weather. It rained all day or all week, and they're going to come back in the summer, and they'll never come back to Maine in January. So it can save you lots of hours. Natural language processing can save you lots of hours in just reading and processing information that's out there. But the big thing that's out there is generative AI. And that's really where all the sizzle is in recent times, is generative AI. So when we look at rule-based machine learning, oh, wait, let me back up. Computer vision. Computer vision is where AI looks at a picture. Facebook, did you ever put a picture on Facebook? And automatically it's finding the other people in the picture and tagging them. That's computer vision. Or it can take a photograph, you upload a photograph to a website or something, it will write a description for it. That's computer vision, when AI can look at that picture and interpret it. And I will say this, with AI and photographs, especially in travel and tourism, I do not encourage people, aside from basic Photoshop stuff, is to not use AI generated photos, because guests will be really pissed off if you use AI generated photos in your materials. Because if they get to the property and it is not what those photos said, they're going to be very, very upset, and that is going to wind up on the internet and it will ruin your reputation. So I tell people, if they're going to use AI when it comes to images, is you could say, this is what my property is. What type of images do you suggest? Experiential. Oh, well, if you have a cozy fireplace or a cozy fire pit, set some chairs out and have a cup of hot chocolate and a blanket so people can imagine themselves there. So that's the way to use AI for images, is for ideas, not so much to create that image for you to use. So that's my little bit on images and computer vision. But as I was saying about generative AI, the first 4 types of AI we're talking about is interpreting existing content, existing information. All right. Generative AI is creating new content. Right. That's where ChatGPT comes in. All right. And you are now telling the AI, you are giving it direction on how and what you want to create. All right. So if you want to create social media, you're saying, I want to create Facebook posts. I want to, like Monica wants to create a social media campaign. And it is a way to create content without you having to think really hard. And if you create blog posts, if you've ever blogged, you run out of ideas. If you use social media is best when you're consistent. And sometimes it's really difficult to keep coming up with fresh ideas for Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest. And um, AI is a great way to get fresh ideas or a different viewpoint of an old idea to be able to use it to generate content for social media and things. So um, I use generative AI for some of the customers that I manage their social media, or our company uses our social media for, to help generate ideas. One of the things one of our clients is in Killington, and we're talking about things how to, ideas how to promote the summer for a ski resort on things to do with summer. And so we're looking at trails. We say, what are some of the best things to do in summer in Killington? And we use it to generate AI, ideas and things we would have never thought about. So that's the best thing about generative AI. It also helps you to say, as I mentioned earlier, when Monica was saying about her property, ideas of my ideal guest is a small family with young children. You can say, I'm in Booth Bay. What are the best ideas or concepts of things to suggest for a personal itinerary for a family of 4 with small children coming to Booth Bay in August? And that is one of the big things that AI allows you, is to create custom itineraries and have the same ability as the hotels do in terms of customer service, to be able to create personalized itineraries for your customers. It doesn't have to be some big elaborate system. Really, it could just be, I have a honeymoon couple. I have I have a small family. I have a LGBTQ plus couple coming or something. And you just say, these are some of the things they're into because you've spoken with them, and it can help generate and they're going to be here for 5 days, and generate a 5-day itinerary or a welcome message. And so this is one of the great benefits of generative AI, that you can up level your customer service without a lot of effort. So I've covered a lot of these just in me talking right now, but I'll just an overview again is available 24, AI chatbots, it's 24/7 availability. It's not to replace you or your staff, but it's to be able to serve the customer better with, booking information, local recommendations. And I will say this is, if you have staff that work for you, when I was in Mexico, I had staff who didn't speak English well, is that I could hand things off with having AI do some of these things. I could I could hand projects off to people using AI, so that I knew, like, grammar was going to be correct, or I knew they could follow through on something because AI was a tool that they were using, and they didn't have to rely on some of their skills. They had AI backing them up. So that was one of the lovely things I think AI offers a lot of properties, especially those that have staffs from other countries, or who may not have an education in hospitality. Automated guest communications. If you don't have a PMS system, a property management system for your property, or multiple units, you can do this still with your Outlook, and that you can find scheduling systems, but to have pre-arrival messages. I know Airbnb does it, but someone books, and then X number of days before the customer goes, a personalized message goes out to that customer. Hi, we cannot wait for you to come. Here's instructions on check-in and local tips during the stay. Hi, how are you? Is everything going well? And post stays. And this can also be set up with platforms like Tidio and ChatFuel. I have it in a downloadable takeaway for you, so you have these resources to use later. But these types of things is where AI, repetitive tasks, is where AI can help up level your services to the guest and really take care of some of these things in the background that you don't need to do manually. Here's a perfect example of messages, and I'm sure if you use PMS systems, you've seen them before, where it really can just hi, and it will automatically extract that guest name out of the customer record. Looking for tips and things, and this is post game and the post message. And I will say, if you don't take advantage of the post message, you're losing a great opportunity to say, leave a review here and send them to where you want them to leave a review. And it really depends on platforms, because I know that like Airbnb has some restrictions on that. But that post-stay message sent out a day or two after they've left is a very key opportunity to nurture that relationship, offer a discount to return. It is part of the customer journey from the time they book to the time they leave, and after their stay is a long part of their customer journey. And so you want to take advantage of that last step in the process of nurturing that customer. We've talked about AI applications for content marketing, also with email campaigns. I know that Jasper was talking about how Score even uses it for some of their email marketing campaigns. You can do the same. Is sometimes it's just hard. Give me ideas. We have openings for Thanksgiving. Let's craft a newsletter in October to promote Thanksgiving, and it can help you generate that content within the criteria that you need it to be. You say it needs to be just a few sentences long. We're offering a discount, and AI can help you do that. And there are tools with that. Canva. If you don't use Canva, I highly recommend it. It's really, really handy to make very professional looking stuff. And Canva uses AI as well. Social Bee, I've used it. It's a great social media platform, very inexpensive. I think they even have a free version now, and Chat GPT, of course, is wonderful. And then here's something that is very handy, whether you have one property or 100 properties, is property descriptions. And property descriptions are sometimes really hard to come up with sometimes. And there's algorithms that need to be taken into consideration. And even if you were just having an e-commerce site, whether it's on Etsy or let's say you have a store online of some other nature, there you want to be able to write proper property descriptions. And let me give you an example on how AI can help with this. So instead of writing a cozy 2-bedroom rental near the beach, AI could turn this into wake up to the ocean breezes in this bright coastal retreat, just a 2-minute stroll from the sand and your morning coffee. So which would you rather book? And the best part is that AI can keep everything consistent. So it will save you hours and even help you with your SEO, your search engine optimization, so people actually see your listings. So you can say the keywords are, Bar Harbor, Maine, or Seaside Retreats, Bar Harbor, and it will work those words into your property description. And you can say, I need a headline that is 50 characters, a subtitle, and a description that's 500 characters, and it will give you that. And I'll tell you a little bit more about how you can use it for Airbnb and some of the other platforms as well. So this is really important, even for the OTAs. They're recommending now that you change your property description once a quarter. And the nice thing that is with once a quarter descriptions, changing those up, is that it's great if you can incorporate any upcoming festivals events that are happening in your area, whether it's an art festival, a food festival, anything that will attract people. Because if you get that information out in time, you can promote that festival and say, and my property is a half a mile from there, or we're centrally located and you can walk to the event. So it's an opportunity to get those reservations in ahead of time, prior to the event. So you want to do that, you can, or it's a great time to leaf peep and start promoting those types of fall trips well in advance. So that is a great, AI will help you keep those, help you change out your properties or update your property descriptions easily, without having to, pull your hair out. All right, so we also mentioned review responses. And one of the things, review responses, all of these the OTAs are now really, their algorithms look on how quickly you respond to customer responses. And AI can help you draft those responses. Now, it takes time to look at at reviews, whether they're good reviews or bad reviews, it takes time. And even if it's a good review and you just say, hey, thanks so much, glad you had a good time, even that gets boring to do. AI will help you craft those review responses easily and make them sound thoughtful and personable. You can just copy that review and drop it into ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, and it will come up with a personable sounding response that you just copy and paste into whatever platform you're responding in. And especially in reviews that are not positive, they're a tough one, or the person is complaining. And I know when I used to have to respond to reviews, you feel defensive. You can feel it in your body. You get defensive and like, they're not right, or, oh shit. And you get really upset. Well, AI can take that review and compose a professional response to that review that does not sound offensive, that makes the customer feel heard. And you can copy and paste it and put it into that response to that review online, and it makes you come up looking like a professional. It doesn't sound like you're angry or defensive or anything like that. And I think that's one of the nice things, because it really takes the sting out of replying to a negative review. So that also helps with reputation management, and it shows, once again, that you care about what your customers are saying. And there are things like WordCraft and reviewreply.ai that can help this process. And I'm also give you my contact information. I have some prompts I'm more than happy to share with you if you want, and that you can do this with on your own. And I can share the prompt that you can just generate review responses on your own without paying for reviewreply.ai and some of these other tools. So, where AI really shines is that every business feels like your business is just for them. It helps you upsell people through emails. It helps create itineraries, custom itineraries, and those mid-text days, or mid-state text, sorry, to help make sure those customers are really, really happy. You could even say in some of your upsells, like, hey, would you like to check in early tomorrow? We happen to have a web wine tasting. It's $35 a person to upsell them and something like that. But it really gives the guest a feeling that you care about their stay, and it gives you an opportunity to sell them, whether it's massages, if you have opportunities to sell them something different or something additional, or just to make them feel welcomed and at home. And so it's that personalization that really builds trust and increases personal satisfaction and loyalty in your business. And then this is very important, is that AI is not replacing you or your staff. There has been numerous discussions online and in various conventions and conferences about AI replacing people. And it is not going to replace us in hospitality. Hospitality, tourism, and travel is based on humanity. People want to experience our culture, our people, our food, our environment. And AI is only a tool to help us facilitate that easier. It can't replace our personalities or our customer service. It can help make it faster and maybe a little more efficient, but there's still people behind that, and it can help us speed up some of the tasks that are just mundane and routine, so that we ourselves can provide a better opportunity to connect with our guests. So don't ever think that AI is going to replace us in hospitality. It's not going to happen. Our responsibility in using AI as a tool is that we're responsible to review and edit the content before it's posted or used or sent out. AI is not perfect. It can make mistakes, just like anybody, just like you and I can. It can make mistakes. So you want to proofread it, especially if it's something you are sending out or putting out to the public. If someone asks you if this is AI generated, if is your review response AI generated, you say yes, but it gave me the basic concepts or a few of the sentences, but I edited them myself. And you don't want to use AI to pretend to be a person. Okay. So you want to use AI with integrity and responsibility. And what this does is that it helps you reinforce or instill trust and professionalism, because there's going to be people, just as people are now, is they're going to be weary of AI and the robots taking over. So we want to show them that we're really still behind the curtain. We're still here, and that the robots haven't taken over, and that when they come, there's still the warmth and humanity there to help deliver a fabulous experience. So that's really the responsibility we have in using this amazing tool of artificial intelligence. So with all of that, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, feel free to put them in the chat, everyone, and I'll read them out for you. Or if you want to come off of mute, you can do that as well. Thanks for a great presentation, though, Kay. I think, not only was it applicable to, vacation rentals, but I think, as you said, kind of a pretty wide variety of topics you could use this for as well. So very informative today. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. Excuse me. Well, if as people maybe think of them, or as we, oh, here we go, actually. Monica, haven't used AI before at all. Could you talk about how to get started and modes of engaging with it, as well as some costs?
Yes, very good question. Um, yes, to get started, one of the most popular, of course, is Chat GPT, and you can use it for free. Most AIs out there, Claude and Gemini. One is a Google product, and the other is a Microsoft product. All of them have free versions. And basically, if you think about it, it is like text messaging. You have a box, and you can ask it a question. And actually, Jasper, if I could do a little demo here, is that okay?
Yeah, I think that would be
Do we
great.
do we have time?
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes, so I think you got plenty of time to do a quick demo
All
here.
right, let me see how I can get to that screen. All right. All right. You seeing my desktop, right?
I'm still seeing the slideshow.
All right. Share.
Perfect. Now we're seeing it.
Great. Let's get rid of. Trying to get rid. Oh, sorry, the dog's barking. Um, okay. Let me move some of these things here. Okay, so this is Chat GPT. And this is my version, but you can see here, this is just my chat bot right here. And here is all my little conversations I've had with it over the series of days. All right. So, Monica, you got a question you would like me to ask it?
Yeah, if you have an example, I know Monica said they're developing their new property. Could maybe a new a description for my new property in, say, Westbrook, Maine.
Westbrook Rain. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
actually, she said, that was just me coming in,
Uh,
'cause she hadn't sent it in, but she now just says social media campaign for Rustic Maine Lodge.
okay. All right. Act as a marketing expert in vacation rentals and outline a social
She
media
does
campaign.
add, she's looking to target whitewater enthusiasts and large groups.
Okay. For a, what is it? A rustic
Rustic Maine Lodge.
main lodge for whitewater enthusiasts. Uh, in what part of Maine? What was it?
Um,
What
Monica,
was it?
where in Maine
Or
would
does
it
it?
be? Monica hasn't shared yet, but
Oh, okay.
Western Mountains or the West Forks.
West Forks, Maine. Okay. So you command it. We're commanding it. And you can ask questions too, but we're going to command it. All right. So we're giving the AI a role. You are going to act as a marketing expert in this field. What we want is a campaign. We want it to be about a rustic Maine lodge. This is our target audience, and this is where the lodge is located. All right. So this is just getting a very broad-based campaign. But you could say, okay, I only want to do TikTok and Instagram. I don't want to do X. Or maybe you do want to do X, or we need to add in blogs. So this is not saying that, and this is saying this is a suggestion. You could say, I want to refine it. Let's say I want to do 1 week, I want it to be just a women's week, and I just want women travelers. You could tell it that, and it would change that. If you want to do paid ads, here it's telling you how to suggestion for paid ads. And it will tell you your metrics if you want to do a promo code. And then it'll come in and ask, would you like me to draft a specific post example or ad campaign copy for this campaign? So this is just one example of how you could do this. Oh, I can pull up. Oh, let me see. Can I put? Oh, I can't see the chats. So this is how simple it can be. This is the one key, and I think why people go, AI is not for me, is because they're not asking a specific enough question. They go, I need an ad. And they're not going to get. So it's kind of like, and pardon the expression, shit in, shit out. If you ask a specific question, you're going to get a specific answer. All right. So if we wanted, let's just say, where would be the, all right, let's ask, can this campaign be improved? And it'll say, yes, we can improve it. So don't always think it's going to give you the best first, is you can always ask it. And it will say, this is some of the other options. So you were asked, instead of having to go through the library and look up all the answers, you're just stepping into a virtual library and saying, this is what I need. And the universe is giving it to you. And you say, well, I want something a little bit better, and it's delivering it to you. And you can keep refining it and refining it. Build a simple ambassador problem. And you can say, who are my competitors? And you can even go, let's say if you had a small hotel or a bed and breakfast, and if you were in Freeport and there were 6 bed and breakfasts, which is probably accurate, you could say, these are my 6 competitors and list them. What are my unique selling propositions again over my 6 competitors? And it will say, well, this one specializes in this, and this one is specializing in that, and this one is right next to LL Bean. Your property is really good because it's quiet, it has no children, and you serve gourmet food or something like that. So it can help sort out, give you clarity in terms of what makes your property stand out against the others, because sometimes we don't see it. We see our houses, fabulous, or we're missing something that we don't see. So here's your competitors in West Forks, Maine. And you can see their unique features. And a few other places to compete against, where you're competing against. And then it will give you a chart. Now, this version of GPT, well, all the AI, these AIs this is generative AI for this one. It will learn as you go. All right. It will learn, and it will learn your style. So that's like, it learns that I like some emojis in some of my stuff. So it only throws an emoji in there. So it uses certain tones, certain words and things, because it knows how I write, or how I write proposals and things like that. So that's why it's giving me my style. When you start using it, Monica, it's going to start developing your style, Monica's voice, or your property's voice, or tone, or the brand, and everything. So it continually is on a learning process in that. And you can upload documents, you can upload photos on these look at these photos and help me write a property description. One of the other nice things you can do there is, let me what there is an AI called Perplexity AI. Perplexity AI, which is not as common as Gemini, Claude, and ChatGPT. Perplexity AI is more data driven. All right. If you want research, let's say white water rafting safety recommendations. And so this will give you citations. I use this a lot, like when I'm teaching or doing research papers and things. It will give you citations and credible, really documented information on what to do. So if you wanted to do a blog post for your property, here are some whitewater recommendations you might want to do in a blog post. And these little numbers here will tell you where this information is coming from. Perplexity is great for this type of writing. It is not a nice, warm, it's not a creative writing style or of any kind like that. Jesper, are there any more messages in the chat?
There are not currently, but Monica does say, very cool, thank you. This is great. Why didn't I ever do this before? And I think, that's why we're here today, demystifying the process a little bit with using AI for your business. Um, as you said earlier, I think, it's one of the next big tools, especially in the business landscape. And, getting in early like this is, a key pathway to success. And we feel that way at Score. And we appreciate you taking the time today to help demystify the process for those who attended.
No problem. Um, I am putting into the chat for anybody who wants to download it. Here's a guide to writing better prompts. It's very basic stuff. Um, it's a nice, easy beginner's guide that anybody can use. So that is in the chat.
Well,
And let me put up. Um,
I'll make sure to include that in my follow-up email as well. So double touch point so everyone has it.
and then let me just give you, if you want, here's my contact information. I didn't, I'm not promote, I didn't want to wave my big banner or anything. Here's my contact information, my mobile. Please feel free to text me. Um, and if you want to shoot this QR code, I have a free community online that is strictly, well, it's AI for hospitality, specifically more geared towards vacation rentals. I have people in the community, there's about 210 people in it from around the globe, and it's a big community of sharing information. Everything from OTAs, there's industry information, but there's also AI information. We have prompts of the week where we put something out there. This is how you can use it. And Monica, that might be something to be really interested in because it'll say, here's a prompt, here's what to expect from it, here's how to use it. So if you shoot this QR code, it will take you over to the community to join for free. And it's just a nice way to connect with others, share information. And I know we just had a big update on Airbnb that I just posted out there this morning. So I invite any of you all to connect with me. And for anybody who's still on the call, if you email me, tell me that you were on this call this morning, I'm more than happy to look over or give you an evaluation if you'd like, or an audit on one of your OTA listings or your website description, property description listing. So please, I'm happy to do that, no charge, just as a nice thing to do.
Yeah, I'm sure people would be really interested. I'll make sure to include this information in the follow-up message you'll receive from me. Again, my name's Jasper with Score Maine. And if there's no more questions, we'll wrap things up today. I want to thank everyone for attending, and I want to thank Kay for a great presentation. Again, really, clarifying the process with how AI can be used for, not just a tourism and hospitality business, but I think that this information could be used across, any industry. And as I said, you will be receiving a follow-up email from me. It will include the slide deck. It'll include the handout that Kay put in the chat and a link to the recording. There'll also be a link to a short survey that we at Score really appreciate you filling out. And one more time, if you didn't already know about us at Score, we're a free, confidential one-on-one mentoring service. Whether you're starting or growing your business, it's easy to request a meeting with a mentor by visiting score.org and filling out the brief online form. We are a nonprofit partner of the Small Business Administration with 240 chapters around the country and 3 right here in Maine. Last year, we helped start over 560 new businesses in the state alone. So we are here to help. If you don't already have a mentor, head on over. And I want to thank Kay one more time for a great presentation.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you all for working with me on this. I've tweaked this presentation just for you guys. This is one of my ones from the university. So I appreciate you kind of bearing with me on some of my stuttering and things. So I thank you. I appreciate the patience.
It's great. Well, thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Great. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.